right, so like I mentioned, we've got communities and ideas, two different pieces, two different things, but they're kind of together. So we thought we'd introduce them both at the same time. The concept behind ideas is actually one I've used in a previous life and thought this would be really useful here, but we kind of needed to mature some processes first. And so we've actually been holding back, 9 months probably? Rolling ideas and communities out, and we decided that waiting for IUC was the right place because we could roll it out, go over it with you guys, introduce it, have questions, and it was a lot more likely to be adopted. So we just recently, if anybody's been out to the website, if you go out to AgileAssets.com, right at the top it says communities and ideas right up here at the top. At some point this year, as you guys update, whether it's through service packs or getting to the latest versions, you'll also have a link inside the application for communities and ideas, and users will, so that they can participate in this as well. It's really important. It's not just get admin or management level ideas and input. We want to get everybody's input because that helps us build a better product, especially when we think about things like maintenance and inspection where we have large quantities of users. We want to make sure we get all of that into the system. So anybody can come out here to communities and ideas, and when you do, you'll get prompted here for a username and password, and your first thought will be, do I use my AgileAssets password and username? No, you're for logging into your system. You don't. And do I have one that I should get? You don't. And so you'll actually create one, and so you'll hit down here in this lower right-hand corner, sign up. And you'll just create a username and a password and log in, and remember that going forward. And so that will get you into the system, and once you log in, you will see something like this. You guys can see this okay, right? Over on the right-hand side, you'll see a leaderboard. We actually put gamification to the communities and the ideas process, so that as you do things and participate and contribute in the communities, you'll get points for it. And then we'll recognize and start to find who is answering the most questions, who's contributing the most, and people will be able to recognize and say, okay, we know who we're going to for fleet, if we have a fleet question. But I'm going to leave most of communities alone and let Rob talk about that stuff. We're going to jump over to ideas, which shows up right here on the menu. AT&T gods are playing with me. So when you come in here, and we've actually primed this with a bunch of ideas that we've received over the last little while. Some of them are in process, some of them are actually already developed. But fundamental behind this whole thing is you can go out here at any point and click post your idea and submit an idea of, I want feature X, I wish this worked like this, I don't like how this works and I have an idea. Everything is fair game. You can put anything you want out there. We're not moderating it in the sense, don't go crazy. Because we will moderate that stuff, but we're not holding back or censoring ideas or putting an approval process on it. Everybody can see everybody else's ideas. So it's not going to be, here's just Montana's ideas, or here's just Nevada's, or anybody's ideas. It's going to be everybody's together, and you can come in here and actually vote on them. And so you could come in here and pick this one, vote on it. Rob's already voted on it. Are you an employee? What? Rob, you're logged out. You want to log in?
I will log in.
And so you got to remember your username and don't use Rob's. All right.
That's how I get more points.
Oh, see, we must have lost our connection because now we got you and Bob, big boy. All right. So you'll be able to see ideas. You can actually come in here. So we actually created this. AgileAssets should use a new version of Jasper. Well, guess what we did? So I've got it listed here as a new idea. You can actually come in here, see content. I commented it. I'm really looking forward to this in the latest version. And so you can come in here. You can comment on these ideas. You can post additional information. The product managers themselves will interact in response. If you post an idea and they have a question about it, what do you mean by this? How does this work? They can go back and forth with you. And the product managers themselves can actually see everybody who's commented and everybody who's voted. So as we build an idea out, we know who to reach back out to. So if 30 of you comment on AgileAssets should use a new Jasper version, we're going to know exactly who to reach out to, one, when we deliver it, but in the process of development, who should we talk to? Okay, who has an interest in this? We can push it out, we can share it, we can have special one-on-one sessions with test environments to demo it and have interactions with it. Come on in. That makes sense. So if we click on votes, we can actually see who's voted for this. So Rob, me, Jared, the infamous Inigo Montoya, and who's this? Salesforce administrator. Our 5 users on the system right now. So you can come out here, you will see everybody else who's voted on this, given it an upvote. You can give them a thumbs down vote. Obviously, don't go in there and be like, okay, I hate all of Doug's ideas. But what the point of it is we really want to, and so if you come in here and look, we actually are seeing the thing with the most points at the top. So everything with 10 points is down. We have one with 20 points, and this one with 50 points. And so it's kind of like cream coming to the top. As y'all get in there and vote, and the more people who vote and interact with this, we're going to be able to identify what things we should prioritize and work on sooner rather than later. Some of them may be big and complex. Some of them could be simple usability things. We go out and meet with customers, and 9 times out of 10, the things we hear about are little things. Those are really easy to fix. And so we want to hear those, get those in the system. We can prioritize them. You can help us prioritize them and drive them through. The way it works is once these ideas are submitted, so inside, this is a view none of you will ever have, but I kind of wanted to walk you through and explain it to you. So as product management, we see all of the ideas listed here. And right now we have 14, 15 ideas listed. And I can come in here and say, okay, the one we were just looking at, where's the Jasper one? I'm looking at last 7 days. You don't have the view in here to view all of them. And that one doesn't show up in product manager ideas. All right. We'll create a new view. No, we're not going to. Okay. I'm going to pick a different one. Fleet mobile app on all the platforms, on Android. So right now, the Fleet mobile app only works on iOS. I think today Brett commented, plan is to bring that forward to Windows 10 and to Android. And so I've submitted this idea. Right now, all the ideas are mine. But you can come in here, you can vote on it. There could be comments on it. But the product managers themselves, I don't think we're logged in as you. Hold on. Oh, there we go. So the product managers themselves are actually able to come in here and we'll change the status. And so as we plan things and go through the process, one of the things we'll do to indicate back to you that we're working these things is move them from everything when it gets submitted as a new idea. There's no automatic process for moving things along. And so we'll say, okay, we've reviewed it. It's on the roadmap. It's in design. It's under development. So if I actually come back to ideas, you'll notice this first one here is a new idea. This one's been reviewed. If I go to page 2, I think we've got some that are done. These couple are in design. Fleet mobile app on Android is on roadmap. And I think at the very end, bridge inspection on a tablet. We all saw where they are with that today. It's under development. And team inspections is delivered. And so this is another, you'll get feedback directly on the ideas you submit and where they are in the development process. And everybody who votes on it will get the feedback and the updates on what's there. You can actually come in and say what was voted on by me, what's commented on by me. We'll hook these up so that they're linked to your organization. So you could come in here and see all of the, all the Montana or Minnesota or Idaho, whoever, what organization you're with. You'd see all of your ideas from your organization listed here together. The key for that is making sure that people don't go and log in with their Gmail addresses. That they use their DOT email addresses when they create an ID here. Otherwise, Gmail is going to have a lot of IDs. But it helps us organize these so that all of those folks, you can view them together and go vote on them. And I can see my ideas, or in this case, Rob's ideas. They're also organized when you create an idea. If we come in here, anybody have a good product idea that we should submit?
I have some actually on
Slido.
That's a damn good idea right there.
Where is the thumbs down? No. All right, so I'm going to take this first one and copy it. Can you give me driving permissions back from the screen?
Yep.
Those are both good ideas. Are you sitting over there? You got somebody keying stuff in for you? All right, so we'll take this one and we'll paste it in here. Can you consider having a work order update the asset inventory? So we'll come in here and say that's part of maintenance manager. So one of the things the system does right out of the gate is it's going to suggest things based off what it thinks might be similar. And so it's going to say, oh, it may have something in here that's already like that. There isn't anything. We've only got 11 ideas. But it's at least going to try and minimize duplicates. And so it's going to take similar words, try and match them and say, oh, did you mean this or did you mean that? So you could go vote on another idea instead of creating that. And then if you have additional text, Doug, you want to give me a little bit of narrative of what you're thinking here for this one?
Yeah, this would probably be more for things like signs, but when you add a new sign face or something, can it update the date installed? Or some field in the asset inventory, other than the maintenance history.
I don't like the size of this keyboard. Okay. And then I post it, and the idea is there. And so if I come in my ideas, that idea is now Rob's. It's not yours anymore, Doug. I'm sorry.
Okay, good idea. I got more points.
But now you can come in, and Doug, and you can vote on it.
Yeah. Perfect.
So you can log in, vote on the idea. Others can come in and say, oh, you know what? In addition to signs, we could use this in facilities. It would be great if we had this in facilities as well. And so you could add those things. It gets elaborated. We get more detail. We know who to work with. And it helps throughout the entire process. So product managers are going to get that information and then come in here and take the idea. If I come back. So your idea is in here, and we can grab it and say, okay, we've reviewed it. And just for giggles, I'm going to say, you know what, it could also be part of right away. Oops, I grabbed more than that. Okay, so we'll put right away and sign manager. And so back over on this side, if we click on sign manager, that idea is going to show up. So if you're a sign manager user, you're going to see the ideas that are relevant to your product. So you can just drill into those, say, okay, I just use signs, and I want to go look at the ideas in there and vote on them. You can vote. Everybody's only limited to one vote. Having used this exact same kind of model in previous lives, I've told users and customers, in previous lives it was a bank that wanted a feature, and I was like, if you can get everybody in the bank to log into our system and vote for an idea, it means you want it. So don't feel and don't hold back in saying, you know what, this would be really important to the DOT, go vote on this idea. We won't consider it gaming the system. If you get 400 people to go in there and vote for an idea, it means it's important. And that's kind of the whole point behind this. So, does this make sense, ideas? You guys think you'll use it?
Can you show, sorry, Michael.
Yeah, no, please.
I missed the first part because I was actually submitting my ideas.
Okay.
How'd you log in?
So if you go out to the AgileAssets website,
Yep.
click on communities and ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm logged in now. But you'll get a login page like this. You hit sign up down here.
Okay.
And then just create yourself a username and password, log in, and submit ideas away. That username and password will also play into communities. And so there is an online portion of communities that Rob will go through, as well as the calls and the user group kind of pieces. So, anybody else have a product idea? Yes, guys, questions?
Other than status, will you be commenting?
We will definitely be commenting. We may put screenshots of a mock-up back in there. We may put stuff in there and just ask for feedback. Like, okay, this is your idea, and okay, we've been playing with the same thing, and here's what we think it looks like. Or here's a workflow of how we think this works. And you give us more feedback. But we will definitely be commenting in there on what's going on.
Question, when I put a ticket in, I always attach a screenshot
Yep.
to help explain the story. Can you do that? with
You can.
these? You can, okay.
Yep.
What are you going to do with ideas that get no votes? Are you going to take them off at a
No.
certain amount of time? No.
So
they'll
we
just
will
sit
never
there?
take ideas out. We just hope someday we get to it. So, I mean, if somebody put it in there, there's at least one vote. And sometimes ideas may become irrelevant, and at that point, we may pull some of them out. But I don't think it's a good idea to just go through and like, no, we don't care. Someday it may be a one person voted on it, but 5 years from now, everybody may be as, mature with their process as the person who had the original idea, and now it starts getting votes. So.
Is there any way to check if there's been any duplication of ideas before you submit one?
So that was actually what we were just showing a minute ago. As you create an idea. So if I came in here and typed, if you spell it correctly. So I I put in maintenance manager and immediately comes back with, can you consider having a work order update the asset inventory is something that could be similar. So it's got some logic in the back end. It's going to try and look for patterns and things like that to identify duplicates. And the more we get in there, the smarter it gets.
So you click on that link and it'll bring you there, you can vote on that one.
Right, so you'd click that and then you'd come over here and say, okay, I want to upvote that one. Rob's already voted for this one. So. Yes.
So do you get alerted if you've entered something on there or somebody's commented on it, or, you know what I mean? So by an email address, do you get alerted that say you've thrown a screenshot out there to be reviewed? Do you get alerted?
So it's part of when you set up your profile, I believe. You can just decide if you get notified on changes or whatnot with your ideas. But yeah, you can control whether you get ideas or updates or not. Anybody else have questions?
There was one more,
Yeah. I'm going to make it a 20
which
minutes.
is this one.
Okay, it's an anonymous idea. Anonymous
We're
idea.
not going to use that.
I put it in.
Okay, you put it in?
I don't have a user.
Okay.
yet.
All right, so another example of an idea, system notification by role instead of user. So yeah, just as easy. So, I'd say is if you guys have laptops later on, feel free to just go in there and load up ideas. But we'll add this one as well. If I use and I'll say this one goes under general. Does that make sense? Anything else you want to elaborate about it?
That's pretty much, it's by user only, it's not by role. You have to go down and select individual users
Okay.
and sending out to individual users rather than by like maintenance chief or a.
Right.
Or a role. I think.
So you would like it by role, not by user.
Exactly.
Vote.
I vote for that.
Yeah, not getting rid of it, yeah.
Log in and vote.
Trying to set up my user ID so I can vote yes or no.
Okay. So idea is posted, it's out there. Rob can't vote on it, so that's the best way to put these in here. And again, so the product managers are committed that at least once a week, they're going to go in here and review the new ideas and move them over to reviewed. Something may sit and reviewed for 3 years because we may like, okay, it's happening, but either, let's say it's a great idea with a lot of upvotes, but it's massive effort. So we're going to sit back and, okay, how do we design this? How do we fit it in the roadmap? So don't get frustrated if something sits and reviewed. Just ping one of the product managers and say, hey, my idea's in there. What's going on with it? Other times you may see an idea just start trucking through the process because we're like, okay, that's easy. We'll throw that. We got room in the next 7-week release. We'll toss that in there in 7.3.2. Okay, so where do you go to log in? Pop quiz. Communities ideas, create up a user, hit sign up in the bottom, and start loading up ideas and voting on ideas. Okay? And feel free to share it with your users. We'll let you decide how liberal you want to be about sharing that, but we'd love to get, it's the little things that bug users that make your lives difficult, and we'll take some of that brunt for you. So, Brandy, you were going to say something?
And I just wanted to verify, so I have a user ID for AgileAssets to log into my ticket system. This is separate.
This is separate, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and repeat it so that,
I just wanted to verify that this is a separate login ID from my AgileAssets ID that I log into the ticket system.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is separate. Sorry to complicate it, but yeah, it is separate. So, any other questions?
I came in late, so did you already cover topics?
Topics? No, we haven't.
Oh, okay.
So we just been talking about ideas because we didn't want you to miss it. So we're like, hold on, we're gonna wait for Charles to get in here, and then we'll cover this stuff. We don't want to shame anybody for being late. But I'm picking up a pattern. So, all right, if there's no more questions about ideas, I'm going to pass it off to Rob. If you guys have questions about it, though, after this, or as you're working on it, feel free to ping me or Rob or any one of the product managers. We want to get people engaged in using this as a channel to help direct the roadmap. So.
Well, thank you, Michael. So I'm going to take over for communities, and as you can see, it's all part of one integrated system here. It's just another piece. The tool itself is incredibly simple, very simplistic. It's really just forums. So when we're talking about communities here, it's only as powerful as you guys as the users make it. So I will move over to that. If I do go home, you're technically in communities and ideas as we've set it up as kind of a subset of that. You will have a dashboard, so if you did want to look at some of the discussions, they will populate, or any feed that you're following or have made, you'll be able to see as well. But in terms of the topics themselves, let's go ahead and cover some of those. We have broken them out the same way that the ideas are. I won't go through each one, but they do exist here exactly the same. We're going to focus on 3 major aspects to begin with. So you have a discussion forum for all of these topics. However, we're going to focus on 3 of them. First one being maintenance management, second one being pavement, and then third being actually both types of structures. And when I say that we're going to focus on this, we're going to start setting up quarterly calls to have kind of like mini IUCs, forums for you guys to interact, for you guys as participants to present, and drive along the topics themselves. You guys are industry experts here, and we recognize that. We want you guys to be using the community here in order to know what each other are doing. If you guys can get ideas from each other, then we want you guys to be able to leverage that as well. So really, we just wanted for you guys to have a place where you can be plugged in. I know that we've used some other forms of this. We've used Freshdesk before, but it was very little usership. So that's why we're banking on rolling it out here and hopefully getting a bit more participation. I have pre-populated a few of these with just a little bit of information. So I went ahead and clicked on a topic. I could have searched for it as well. I went to maintenance management, and first thing here is what would you guys like to talk about on the quarterly call for Q2 of 2018. So as you can see, we will be using this. We will use this as the place to both solicit ideas and then to post agendas and even the WebEx information for when we do have a call on that. Likewise, I've put this item in a few different forums, which is which reports out of the box do you either love or would you like to see? So this is kind of a blurring of the lines between ideas and what a community is, but we want to see from you guys, hey, what are you guys using? You guys do essentially the same work, however, you all do it a little bit differently, and so that becomes very apparent when you start reporting on it. So we want to see, is there a way that we can make this into one? Is there something that we're seeing very often? In the case of Georgia, do you want to start using our reports? That would be a good one. But we want to be able to tell how we can best suit your guys' needs. We are a company of very intelligent people. However, we can be very smart in our own little silos, and we're missing the point. And that's why a lot of what you're hearing from Michael is going out, making sure we're soliciting you guys for what your feedback is, and if there's any way that we can help, or as you guys can help each other. There are a lot of items that might not even be related to AgileAssets that you might have a question. How are you guys handling certain federal requirements? How are you guys just doing this in snow and ice? I might not be able to answer that, but you guys in the field have your own ways of doing that, just from applications to even special uses of equipment. So I think that was probably going to be one of the fastest things that could have ever been said, because it's just a tool for you guys to use. And the more important piece is how you guys use it. You do have access to do it. If you want to create a new discussion, just click on New Discussion, and it'll ask you where you want to post it. It'll give you that same list that we just saw. And let's say that I did want to use client care because I didn't actually talk about that. We would like you to use, if you can, this as your inquiry section for client care. So if you just have a question, then this can be answered both by client care or also by our product owners. So they will be looking at this. So if you had a question about pavement management, then Mr. Ting will log on every so often, at least once a week, perhaps once a day, and he will be able to at least intelligently answer that. So I'm going to actually, what would be a good question, Mr. Ting, to ask? Dr. Ting, sorry. For content. Just for a discussion, How do I do this?
How do I find that a particular pavement condition index is calculated? How do I find the PCI is calculated in pavement analysis?
It'd just be as simple as that. So then we ask, and now all of a sudden this form exists. You'll notice that it did very similar to what Michael was showing. It does put some tags on here, smart tags. So later, if you are searching, I can do a PCI, and it will search through the topics for that result set as well. With that, that really is the crux of it. You can answer them as users, so if you want to put in anything, then that's open to you. We have a question out in the back.
Is there a means to...
Hey.
Thank you, sir. Is there an alert for users? Take, for example, if they open up a chat forum and they haven't looked at it in a week, but it was open in, say, Texas, and now somebody in Atlanta, Georgia responds, say, a week later. Is there a way to alert them, say that, hey, the conversation is actually moving forward?
I believe so, and I believe it's the same as what Michael was talking about with it alerting you. So if you are the creator of that, you can also follow any updates. I didn't activate the follow directly on each individual discussion, but that'll be the next step. So it's just rolling out, so there probably will be changes at some point to this. All right.
Right. Any more questions?
After questions, I will actually do a demo login in case you guys want to see how to follow if you're having issues with that as well.
Okay,
I don't
Joe.
know that I need a microphone.
No, but it's
You
for
do
the
for the
stream
live
session.
stream.
For streaming.
So.
My audience, my question is really to the audience, is do any of you use a similar tools with different applications or anything like this with other areas, and maybe have any comments of what your experience has been in using such a tool?
We've used SharePoint on similar, and other applications. We've used SharePoint.
Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. People sometimes don't like to have lots of discussions. They'd rather call you on the phone or come to your desk and talk to you. But we have tried on SharePoint, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we use SharePoint for a lot of things. This will be a very useful tool, especially for Illinois DOT.
So as we said that, I put in here, how does communities rate versus other online forums, and what can we do to improve? So now we have that. It can be done quite as easy as that. Any questions? All right. I'm going to log off then.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there a general topic under the community as well?
There is not right now.
So what if I have a general question, then what category do I put it in?
You can either put in client care as, the question was if there's a general question that doesn't necessarily fall into one of these categories, what to do with it. For right now, I would suggest putting it in client care, and that'll help us to prioritize it. And then if we're finding a lot of that, then we will create a general topic area. The hindrance with that is that sometimes people will just throw it in there without having kind of vetted through it, and we don't want to overwhelm people with some of the stuff. All right, so if we do come over to the AgileAssets website and do click on Communities and Ideas, it will bring us to this login page. And if you don't have a user set up, then you can just click Sign Up, and it'll ask you for your first name, and then we'll go.
Sorry, I do have one question remotely, I think. Give me a second. So.
And this is the last one. Is there a way to mark a completed out-of-work order that still needs an invoice attached? So we can go back and then find them. So this would be a forum discussion? Okay. All right. And this is something I need to do to bring it out.
Yep, sorry.
Okay. I've got this saved, so I will enter it as this ComUser1, or ComUser2 is John Doe here. What I did do is I creating a user, just John Doe. I'll delete him probably after this, but we'll keep your idea, your discussion going. And hopefully if I spelled everything the same way, I need a nickname. And that's really just what the system would refer to you as. Oh, yeah, sorry. We'll get this right. I was just making sure you guys are following along. So again, it does bring you here, and then I would be able to come on over to maintenance management. I can make a new discussion. So I did the same thing as you. There's a function key right in the place where control should be. And so now we have it. And I could even log in as myself and come over here and then answer it. There an issue? No. Doug's looking at this as though there's something wrong with this.
No.
Okay. It was your...
Doug wants to go upvote it.
Okay. I'm hoping he does. Are there any questions on this? If you do have any questions, you can feel free to ask Michael or myself. We're pretty well versed on this now. Like I said, this will evolve over time, just to make sure that we are meeting your guys' needs, and by all means, give us any kind of input that you have on it. You don't even have to use this system to give us the input on it. You can just let us know. So, all right. Thank you very much.